There are lots of things we all want to change in our lives, but the reasons why we find change hard are very common. And the first steps for real change are about the same for everyone. Now, you're about to meet 3 women who are in different places in their lives, but they share the same fundamental thing in common. They don't know where to start, just like you.
I really have to change.
Oh, I definitely know I need to change.
I really want to change.
I am a busy single mom. My time is devoted to my children, my job, and my house. There's just no time left for me.
I absolutely woke up one day and was overweight. Pants didn't button, nothing looked right, nothing felt right. I do feel trapped in someone else's body. It feels like there's no way to get out.
After my divorce, I basically shut down. I decided not to date, concentrate more on my children. That was my sole focus for a long time. I did build a wall around myself.
I am overwhelmed by stress. I'm not sleeping at night. It's making me sick. I feel frazzled and run down. I'm stuck on the wheel of stress.
I'm overweight, and it is absolutely bad food choices. I lack willpower. Being overweight bothers me on a daily basis.
At times it would get depressing, being alone. My children, now that they're getting older, it's time that I have a life. I want to be happy, I want to settle down. Something missing in my life that I need to find.
Every time I try to make myself a priority, I fail.
I do sabotage my resolutions every time.
I'd like to break out of the rut of holding myself back.
I really
I am absolutely ready.
I'm ready to make a change.
Jenna, Angela, and Deborah are here. Now, the 3 of you have not met until today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I love how your stories sort of interweave with each other. What do you think you have in common?
Well, basically the same thing. We're all single moms and we're raising children at the same time, and they consume our lives. It's all about them. And now that they're getting older, I'm personally, for me, I'm having more free time now, and I'm not sure what to do with myself, and I need to make a change and find my way.
So, it's interesting. You're all looking to make a change, but you have very different lives. Yes, you are moms, but moms have different kinds of problems. Some of you are bored, stressed, anxious, guilty, different emotions I see. I mean, let's start with you, Jen. How's guilt a roadblock for you?
I felt very guilty because I felt that I needed to be there for my children all the time. If they needed a ride, I was the one there. Now my son's 18, he drives, so I don't have to worry about that as much. So it just was very hard moving on.
And Jenna, you're in that video, overeating almost out of boredom. What drives you to put that extra morsel of food in your mouth?
I think nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or even just the fact that watching TV, you're just sitting and there's kind of nothing in your hands, and I have this fixation with ice cream that I can't seem to get rid of.
You're not alone with that either.
Oh my goodness, constantly.
And Deborah, you're stressed, overstressed.
Yes.
And you have a difficult time compensating that. So what do you want to change that you can't change now?
I want to figure out how I can get time for myself. All my time revolves around my kids, work, getting them to school, picking them up, going to extracurricular activities, and then the day is over. There's no time left for myself. There's no time left for me.
So I want to introduce you to somebody who you're going to like a lot. And we did a little experiment with you, which I appreciate you participating in. Come on over. One of my core team members is coming by to help out. She's a licensed therapist, Tia Brown. How are you, Tia? Thanks for being here. And Tia is so good at this stuff. This show's all about new things. And so you actually have a new little gadget that you use to help us identify what's going on. Very simply, she gave our guests a brand new device to wear that tracks stress levels. So if you don't mind, explain what kinds of information you got and how you can use that to help them.
Absolutely. So I gave you a device that measures your stress levels by monitoring your breathing patterns. And the great thing about this device is that it gives us a visual indication of when your body is stressed. You see these spikes, your body is tensing up. And what did the device do? It tells you to stop, take a breath, relax.
So see these little spikes here? Those are places where you were sort of reminded that you were all stressed out. So Deborah, we're about to see some spikes for you over here. Right. Explain what was going on in your life. What was right there? Freeze that.
3 p.m., 4 p.m. What's going on with you, Deborah?
Children are home.
Children are home. So what kinds of stress does that mean? Homework, cooking, preparing for the evening, preparing for the next day.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It really is.
I noticed that with all of you, by the way. The bewitching hour.
Yes.
The reason it's important to us is that these little signals, right, they're manageable. They seem almost irrelevant, but they can turn into much louder, bigger signals if you don't hear these ones.
Yes.
like heart disease and anxiety conditions and things that you don't want to have to deal with. I'd rather you hear the gentle little whispers in your ear to change your lives for the better than have to be bolted and shoved into a big change later on. So what is this plan you've got in mind?
The basic thing is this. We all come up with these huge ideas saying that I'm going to never eat carbs again. I'm never going to eat ice cream. I'm going to make sure that all of the kids' homework is done by 5 o'clock. I'm going to make sure that I exercise 6 times a week. These things are so overwhelming and they're hard to accomplish. Real change requires a process. And what do you have to do? You have to make practical, personalized solutions for your problem. Being practical is the only way to have long-lasting change. And if you're committed to the process, you can have whatever you want. And I want you guys to really know that. You can have it. You have to go for it.
If you are ready for a change but don't know where to start, this plan is for you. One of my core experts, licensed therapist Tia Brown, is giving you the first steps to change anything in your life. We're going to start with Angela. She says she wants to change the way she eats. So what happens normally when you're about to put that ice cream into your mouth and you realize you shouldn't? What is it that holds you back from making that change?
I just love ice cream.
All right, bad example. What if you're putting a cracker or kielbasa? You know you're putting something in you that you don't want to have in you. That's what you voiced that to me already.
Well, you always think that I could restart this tomorrow. So I get a little today. Tomorrow's a new day. We can start all over.
And then we can make the big change, right?
Right.
Tomorrow stake in the ground. Never gonna have. We all been there, right? Never gonna have the problem. All right. First step of the plan is define realistic goals. If you couldn't do it tonight, you can't do it all tomorrow morning. Tia, please explain why this is so important to you.
Absolutely. Realistic goals are so important. And one of the analogies that I love to make when it comes to change, specifically for weight, is with money. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we all love money.
Yes.
And we also know to have more money, we have to do what? Consistently invest.
You're going to pay her to lose weight?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pay her to lose weight. But let's use money
sure.
as an example. If I gave you 50 cents, are you impressed with 50 cents? Is that a lot of money?
Not really.
No, it's not. But if you take
really?
that investment, right? And you say, I'm going to take this investment and I'm going to keep building and building and building and saving, and we plop it in here, how much money do we have?
That's a different story.
That's right. It's a lot. I'll say it's a lot of 50 cents, right?
Right.
So when we make change, literally, it's about adding all of the things that we want into the pot slowly but surely. So you talk about loving to snack. You love ice cream. Who says you have to give up ice cream? No, you don't. But you need to make a better choice to have the results you want. And that's one of the ways you can make change. So maybe it's a low-calorie ice cream. What's another option for a snack that you can take that you would love?
Maybe
See, this is the problem. So one of the things we have to do is create practical solutions in a way that fits us. So you have to really do some brainstorming. And this is the work, this is what you're investing, coming up with other snacks that you love, because ultimately you want to be able to maintain the change. And then what happens if you continue to make that change? Go to the next table.
I would take the $10 just in case.
Come on. We have big money change, right? So what does this look like?
Yeah.
nice.
Right. So you took the little bit of money, you added a little bit, then you added a little bit more, and what do you have now? A long-lasting change. And all of the investments that you've made, eating better, taking a little time to exercise. So that's the goal, creating practical, realistic solutions that you can maintain. You can do it, and everybody can do it. It's really up to you.
I think I could do it.
I think you can do it.
I know you could do it.
I like that.
When you say, I don't like this anymore, right, that hurts me. Because I want you to like this, because you're worth it. So just look behind you. I'm going to put in that little monitor a bunch of things. These are steps. We're going to practical health steps. First step one, no fried food. That's a pretty easy. That's a quarter donation to the pot.
A little bit of change.
Not in my house.
Well, it's something you could do theoretically for a week, right?
And it's about being committed to the change.
Definitely.
So maybe it's not no fried foods every day, but it's maybe fried foods only once a week.
Okay.
And that's your treat day.
And then week 2, we add no fried foods too, but then you say no veggies. I mean, you're rather going to add veggies. I'm giving you something back. Then week 3, maybe that walking around.
That's right.
And then week 4 is you're going to sleep differently. And slowly you start to build this wall that becomes this that we're talking about.
It's about
right?
how bad you want this.
You're ready, yeah.
I'm ready.
I like
you
that.
want this. You want, hold
I
that.
am.
What you
I'm
look at
ready.
yourself, you want the physical equivalent of this, because you are worth it. All right, here. Okay, good. All right, come on over, Tia.
love it.
The
I
next
love
step of the plan is to
Angela,
break the cycle that's keeping you from moving forward. This, my friends, is going to change your lives if you understand this. Jenna and Deborah are here. to understand exactly how Tia wants you to do it. So please explain this cycle.
So we have the cycle of what? Guilt. We all have this goal that we want to accomplish, and a lot of times guilt gets in the way of us actually being proactive and accomplishing what we want.
Yes.
Now, the biggest thing for moms, and I say this for a lot of women, we feel guilt in a way that's different than men, right? Because we
don't feel
feel
guilt. Men don't feel
responsible for everybody's happiness. And we feel guilty for things that we can't control. So as moms, you're now in a position where you may be single heads of households and you may be balancing more things than you anticipated, but you love your children and you want to make them happy, healthy, and resilient. And what guilt does is prevent you from making them resilient, because what you do is give them other things because you're trying to appease your own guilt. So if you want to be a great mom, you have to kill the guilt. And that's the only way you're going to make a happy, healthy change.
Yes.
And then you can work towards your goal.
I agree.
Come back for 1 second. I want to show you something. I made a little diagram here based on what Tia was saying. Jenna, you can join the party.
Thanks.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk about our goals, right? Let's put it up there. We have this goal. We all want to get here. We all think, and we hopefully that we're worth it. Then guilt gets in the way. And when you have guilt starts to do other things. It gets you stuck in this cycle. It makes you put yourself last because you'd be guilty.
A big thing for moms, what we're doing everything for everyone else and we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
And then when you actually see yourself last, you're unhappy because what Tia says is so true, and you psychologically and subconsciously you process it, and then you get run down because you're going 100 miles an hour, and then you have more guilt because you're not delivering, and then that cycle goes around bigger and larger and faster, and finally you can't get to the goal because you're all around it but not in it.
Right.
So here's the thing with guilt. You take away guilt, remove it from there, there's no cycle anymore. All these things drop away. In fact, what's left is the goal.
Oh, and what I really think is important when it comes to taking away the guilt is being very specific about what you feel guilty about. Guilt is such a big term. I feel guilty because my ex-husband is no longer in the household. I feel guilty because I want to go out with my friends and I can't.
Right.
I feel guilty because my kids don't have everything that I wanted them to have. I feel guilty because I gave my kids everything except a little bit of the discipline that they needed.
I know.
Because
I'm working on it.
I love them too much.
I know.
Right. So we have to really name that guilt so we can address it and fix it. And then you will be able to meet the goal you want.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.